Will record. Okay, so dear all, I'm very happy to host today my very good friend and colleague, Dr. Shada. She's a specialist prosthodontist, and she's also a director at a lifestyle dental practice. Welcome, Dr. Shada.
Thank you, Dr. Sabreen. It was such a nice pleasure to get an invite from you people to enlighten the student that they want to know about me and my experience at King's. And it was pleasure to see you live. And I wish you all happy Ramadan. And thank you for joining in at Ramadan time when we all are fasting. And certainly today is my first Rosa, so it is all the more reason I have to uh, sandwich in between because it's going to be iftar time here soon. But yes, I wanted to be able to tell people and students about my college where I did my post graduation study. And hello to all of you.
Let's be very honest,
Uh,
Shada. First of all, it's not only for students, but I am very happy to see you after a very long time of our meeting, last meeting in Dubai. And
I think,
personally,
yeah,
sit in this topic, to be honest.
I think we met in 2014. It's after almost 6 years.
Exactly,
I was a student and you were also a student,
exactly.
and we met at a conference where we were presenting our paper, and it was lovely catching up Sabreen there.
Yes.
And
Doctor,
and
let's start with a question. First of all, I would like you to introduce yourself more. With the deep information, since I gave very short introduction.
yeah, just a sec. Let me put a screen if I can. Let me see if I can put a screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, now you are starting. Okay, yes, we can see.
Okay, so basically, I am Dr. Shaza Hamid. I'm from Lucknow, India, and I did my master's in clinical dentistry from King's College London. And these are few things. I was Dental Institute rep. I was postgraduate academic board member there. I was awarded a Henry Shane Leadership Scholarship Award there. Right now, I'm doing my private practice at Lucknow, which goes with the name of Lifestyle Dental Practice. And currently, I'm active as a member of Indian Dental Association Lucknow branch, and I'm holding a post of assistant secretary there. So let me stop sharing and let me talk to you people face to face.
Uh,
Yeah.
since you just mentioned that you are graduated from King's College London, so for me it's interesting. How did you decide to apply there? How this idea came?
Uh, I just finished my graduation, that is BDS from India, Lucknow, in 2007. And I wanted to pursue post graduation for sure because that was a logical thing for me to do before embarking on private practice. Or that's what I wanted always, to be a private practitioner, but I wanted to specialize in something before I happened to start up my practice. So I decided that I probably want to do it from India here. So I started writing. Here you have examination, right? So and somehow, because of a lot of reason, it was difficult to get a good seat in a good college. So I was looking for other avenues where I could apply and I could get admitted into besides India. So that's where I started exploring not only England but rather USA also, Australia also, a little bit of Canada. And yeah, so these were the basically four countries where I was looking for the master's option. So for US and Canada, you need to write a licensure, a board examination in order to clear your DDS.
Yes.
Because in Indian subcontinent, the graduation is 4 year program, right? And there it's a 6 year program. So anyhow, we need to do 2 year of extra residency in order to even think of specializing somewhere. So US and Canada, I didn't consider much because I just wanted to do my post graduation and come back to my country to practice here. It was not on my mind that I want to settle anywhere abroad, or it was not really a concern.
Yes.
And then I started looking in Australia and England, because there I could just go for my post graduation studies. I could choose to apply in various colleges, because the requirement, and again, I would like to say that the requirement for international colleges vary according to your country of residence. So you need to check upon that. So when I checked upon my qualification and the eligibility requirement for the post graduation course, UK made sense.
Okay.
So I happened, yeah. So that's how UK was shortlisted. But then it was mandatory to have 2 to 3 years of clinical experience. That is after your internship or house job, whatever it is called in whichever part of country you belong to.
Doctor, I'm very
Right.
to clarify for the people that you were applying for a master program, PhD program, or so people.
No, I was applying for my master's program only. I was not looking for PhD, because, frankly speaking, I don't know I have the caliber to carry on that kind of research. And PhD seems too much actually at that point of time.
Yes.
And certainly, I'm not courageous enough like Dr. Sabreen to pursue PhD. So yeah, certainly I was looking for some 2 3 years of master's program, and that was the shortlisting criteria for me. So that's how England happened,
How
that
did you
I shortlisted that country too.
Doctor,
Sorry.
how did you contact them? Means by email, or there was certain, what were the
Yeah. So you need to apply to every university you want to study in. That is an individual application, and there is a unified portal also, in which few university of are a member, and there if you apply, it's just one application form, and you get to choose the colleges you want your application to be sent to. So that is one portal, and mostly colleges prefer that students should go on their admission portal and make an application. So you need to have an idea about the colleges or the university you are targeting. So for me, I checked the ranking of the colleges and the mentor who they were training. As in, I was interested in oral surgery and prostho or ortho. But interestingly, oral, yeah, so those were the three subjects I was looking forward for my post graduation, and I was working as a uh, mm, associate dentist for some time at a reputed clinic here in Lucknow. So and the owner was an orthodontist, so certainly, I mean, I was literally a little bit biased about ortho. But prosto, I had my gold medal in prosto during my undergrad. So prosto, again, prosto is a very vast subject. So I was not very sure that I want to do prosto. But yeah, these were the three subjects I was looking for my post graduation. So then I will recommend that you shortlist the colleges based on ranking or based on finances also, because studying in England is a little bit on the expensive side for international students. So the fee varies according to colleges, and they have individual. It's not a unified fees across all the universities in England. So first of all, you need to check the university, shortlist the colleges you want to apply in, and then I will recommend that go through the college profile a bit to see that if you are happy with what they are offering.
Mm-hmm.
And one good thing about the colleges in England is that they usually take part of open days, in as in for postgraduate open days or undergraduate open days. So if you happen to be in England or you are going there for vacation, you can plan your vacation accordingly, and you can get to see the facilities at hand, that where will be you be trained at. You'll get to interact with alumni, not alumni, rather current students and the staff also. So you'll have an idea before you apply to the colleges that uh, mm, what will you be looking at, or what you'll be getting after you are getting shortlisted in that colleges.
Doctor,
And
What were
Yeah.
the requirements? What they asked you for when you applied there? Like,
So for first of all, your graduate degree should be verifiable by GDC, that is the General Dental Council, which is the Council of UK. So you need to. They have a menu in which they have colleges all over the world, which they recognize the degree of those colleges. So what I'll suggest, you can go to that site and you can check your college and institution whether your degree is recognized there or not. So if your degree is recognized, you are eligible to apply for the postgraduate courses. If not, then you require some additional training in order to apply for postgraduate.
mhm.
Yeah, so first eligibility requirement is whether your degree is verifiable by GDC or not. And after the degree is verifiable by the GDC, then second comes the English requirement test. So it's basically IELTS or TOEFL, and I think the requirement is 7 band something. So it's a pretty straightforward English language test, which comprises of 4 parts, I guess: speaking, writing, listening, and writing. Yeah. So these are the 4 sections, and probably TOEFL also works in the same scale. The fourth section which you need to, uh, because they want to know that you'll be able to communicate with the patients, and you, most importantly, you'll be able to understand their complaints. Because no matter if you're good at expressing yourself, and you somehow miss what they are, trying to tell you, because that's the basic thing. We work with live patients, so you need to understand the patient's issue. Yeah, same. Like if I'm working in Middle East and somehow you get into a patient who knows only to speak Arabic, so you need to have basic command on language. That so England is anyhow an English speaking country, so there the requirement is English language and degree, and 2 to 3 year of post degree work experience is desirable, which make a lot of sense in retrospectively. When to be honest, when I was looking for this criteria, that was pretty, I was pretty perplexed that why do they need 2 to 3 year of work ex. But retrospectively analyzing, what I feel that when you're working as a dental associate at a general dental practice, or even when you're working, I mean, your work encompasses all the disciplines, be it perio, be it conservative, endo, and ortho and prosto. So you explore yourself a lot. In our colleges, or rather most of the colleges, you are required to perform certain number of tasks in order to qualify for the degree, right? No matter whether you like it or you don't like it. So yeah, that's there. You have to do it whether you like it or you don't like it. So in my opinion, or in my experience, when you're working with some clinic, or even at college as a lecturer or demonstrator, you get to know, and you get a let's say a broader perspective of dentistry, that what will be your calling, right? Because this is something we are talking about, that you will be practically doing for rest of your life, right? So supposingly you get admitted into prosto and you don't like prosthetic work, it's impossible, right? So maybe yeah, maybe for social pressure or something like that, you might be able to qualify the degree, but deep down the lane you'll not be happy, you'll be stressful. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
definitely.
think it's very important and very relevant that people need to know that what is their calling, what is the work they enjoy the most. As an undergrad level, it's little confusing to know that what do you want to work. So when you are working after graduation, when you have a command, at least a basic command on whole dentistry as a broader sense, so you get to learn that which disciplines
You like more.
is yeah, you like more, or you enjoy doing more, and you're good at.
In King's College, did they give you a variety? Like, could you choose? Do you want which specialty, or they just told you you are accepted to prosthodontics?
No, you there. Okay, fine. Let me tell you this thing, that I applied to 5 colleges. Although you can apply to a number of colleges, because it's a very nominal fees, probably 70, 80 pounds. And most of the colleges have a free application, that e-application is free. So back then when I was applying, it was not this internet savvy world. So still there was paper applications which has to be processed.
Yes.
Because I clearly remember University College of London, UCL, Eastman Institute, it was not accepting the e-application. You have to print out and you have to send it, the application. So that's one university which I have to post my letter.
Yes.
And rest, I applied for Queen Mary, I applied for King's, I applied for Manchester, and there is a University of Dundee, which is in Highlands, yeah, in the northern part of England. So those were online applications, so it was pretty hassle free. And there is a requirement that you need a statement of purpose. So you need to express to your university that why do you want to, why have you chosen a subject. So you need to write it very carefully and logically, that which discipline you want to. And it is advisable that if you have done something in that discipline, you should focus or highlight that, so
Yes.
that the people know that you are interested in that, and you have been doing something on that, and you were successful, or at least you are interested, so you have a uh, mm, mm, in-depth craving for that subject. Yeah, so I believe that statement of purpose is very important. So when you pick up the paper and pen or your iPad to write down your application, uh, so certainly you need to answer why do you want to that college, why that subject, and why England also, because globally a lot of colleges exist. So why England? And so these are the things you need to focus on, your SOP, statement of purpose, which is called. And then you require letter of recommendation also from the places where you worked, or the undergrad university you have graduated from. Or I'll recommend that if you excelled at some subject, so you can also request the HOD of that department to write a letter of appreciation. Because especially if you are applying for the same specialty, supposedly if you are applying for uh, ortho, so it makes sense that your head of the department ortho writes something good about you.
And you
Yeah,
in ortho, let's say.
yeah.
Someone
So
has questions, please write it in the chat box. While we are discussing, you can also put some of your questions. So,
yeah, certainly. Any of you, if you want to know anything specific, although I'm trying to give you a broader perspective, a general perspective, that what all I went through personally, because when I was applying, there was nobody I could talk to,
yes,
and it was very difficult to get hold of the people, because there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, it was only emails, and to know of people who working there, and how to get through that, it was not easy. And I think nowadays it's very easy that you catch hold of alumni of that college and you talk to them. And I'm sure a lot of us are very happy to assist any student. I get a lot of questions on Quora. I have a very active profile there, where a lot of students ask me about licensure requirement, about uh, study requirement, what it is to be like in England, what it is to be like practicing there or studying there. So yeah, I like to help students that way, whether I know them or I don't know them. And I try to give them a perspective that because personally I went through that uncertainty. So I think if I can, I should help students to make their life easier. Although post graduation or PhD is not an easy thing to do, as you, I assure you agree,
of
right?
course.
That
Doctor, there is a
the
comment, not a question, but I would like to highlight it, to read it. So, a very good student of me, Saman, she's writing that good afternoon, doctors, and thank you for such an informative lecture. So, thank you, Dr.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Feel free to ping me on Facebook or Instagram or Quora also if you want anything specific. And yeah, so I was telling about the application thing. So application, that's how you apply. And I'll tell you, the application closes bit early. That if you're usually the session starts in September or January. So for September 2020, most of the colleges, the application shut down by November 2019. So it's almost a year ago that academic session, the application for the academic session is closed. So the portal is closed. So you need to plan it. You need at least 1.5 years in your hand in order to, apply and get through. Because once you apply,
Yes.
you get to hear from the university whether you're shortlisted or not. And I think shortlisting happens on the basis of your academic performance and your extracurricular activities also, that how good you were at leadership or
Popular.
extracurricular in terms of sports or cultural. So they are not looking for only individuals who are very good academically. Yeah,
Someone is
so they want.
very active in all of this. Doctor, I'm very sorry, just because of time limitation, I don't want to miss the questions. So one
Yeah.
those who is listening to us is asking, can you tell us about the duration of master's course?
So duration for clinical courses are minimum 3 years, 3 to 4 years, depending on the specialty you choose. And we have whole lot set of specialty you want to specialize in, like you have perio, prosto, ortho, oral medicine, radiology. In fact, there are few 1 year program also which are very specific, like CBCT interpretation and regenerative dentistry. So these are very specific. We have prosthetic and we have maxillofacial prosthetic as a separate, in which the maxillofacial part people uh, like to work focus dedicated on maxillofacial prosthetic, although in prosthetic also you study a bit about it but not great detail, because if you really want to work with onco people or rehabilitation of the people, then they have a separate specialization. Like in prosto they have two, one is your core prosthetic and one is maxillofacial prosthetic. So in prosthetic,
I heard
yeah,
you are organizing some of the trainings, right, in your country at the moment.
yeah,
Idea of that.
yes. So students, those who cannot invest for such a long time and they want to upgrade their skills in dentistry, supposedly somebody facing a problem in full mouth rehabilitation, or they want to learn about smile designing, or most of the people, as I'm sure you would agree, that TMJ is such an enigma that people don't know how to deal with occlusion and TMJ.
Definitely.
So my training is or the courses which I run are basically short duration also and long duration also.
Mhm.
So short duration are 1 to 3 days depending on the subject or the topic we are teaching you. And the long term modules, these happen over weekends, like every month or every couple of months, 2 3 days you come stay with us, and we'll teach you the clinical aspects of the things, and then you can go back to your practice and fresh start, like you change your view about how you are practicing so far.
Doctor,
That's supposedly because a lot of, yeah.
have a clinic in which city? I'm
Hello.
sorry, I think someone opened the mic. Can you close your mics, please? So my
Hello, Anuj sir. Thank you for joining.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Sabreen, Dr. Anuj Maheshwari is a diabetologist, very renowned and very critically acclaimed. And I'm honored that he has chosen to join in this live
thank you so much.
session with you.
Thank you so much.
I thought I will listen both of you silently, but you catch me.
Sir, you have to switch off the
Understand.
mic because,
I will help.
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, sir.
Uh,
Yes, Dr. Sabreen.
I was asking if these trainings are going in, are happening in India at the moment, or
Yes, we basically customize the modules according to the student requirement. There are certain set pattern also, and there is customization also. Supposingly, you want to learn one aspect that you are not understanding the complete dentures, or you are not understanding the cast partial dentures. So we'll try to teach you that aspect. Or supposingly, you have been doing your work analog and you want to go into digital. You want to learn about CAD CAM. So these are the small topics in which, we try to teach people according to their interest, that what they could do to upgrade the dentistry, or it become monotonous after a certain time, I think. We all look for, certain something which is challenging and which is new, and you get into that learning curve, and dentistry become little, you just get a fresh perspective to do the things. So that's what my focus is. And we have courses for beginners also, and for people who are into practice for a couple of years. So the modules are basically basic and advanced. So depending on that requirement, you can get in touch with me for those courses. And we can probably have a course for you, students of your colleges, if they are interested and they are willing to come to India and get trained by me.
We have
It will be,
many students from India, by the way, so we will discuss.
yeah.
Doctor, back to King's College. That's a great story of a success. However, wherever you go, there is always, a difficult part of education. So what kind of challenges have you faced during your study in King's College? So what can you advise our students that this is the challenge that I faced and this is how you could overcome it?
Frankly speaking, King's is one of the best place to be in if you want to study, right? And yeah, that's very important, because I know a lot of colleges or a lot of the students that they will tell that they didn't get hold of the paper or the resources, or some part of it is missing. But at King's, it is made sure that no matter which paper, which year, they will make sure that you have the paper if you need it for your assignment or for your reading, right? So yeah, in terms of challenge, living internationally might be difficult for some students who are are not very used to of moving around, because my background is pretty mobile. I stayed in I have to move my base every couple of years, because my father was working with Ministry of Defense, right? So for me, moving places and going to new places and meeting new people was not uh, an issue at all, which might be for some people. So and England is very formal, right? So it's not yeah. And plus the weather, if you don't like cold weather, if you don't like rains, then England has great deal of rain and cold and snow, bit of snow, and yeah, a little bit of food also if you're a foodie. But I'll say that you'll overcome, because in England you get global food of any country and any in terms of challenges, it was not very challenging in terms of adjusting in a college, because you get so many resources at your hand, you get so much exposure, you are taught by global leaders, right? Everybody there is a living legend. People whose book I have read at my undergraduate level, like when I was student there, Dr. Eric Waite was the dean, and he is the radiology guy, right? And he is very strict, right? So it was not easy. So they'll be very pally. They will make sure that you're comfortable as an international student. But yes, you have to study, because when they are putting that much resources and energy on you, they expect you to study and perform well. They certainly prepare you well for any kind of challenges. And in your
Doctor, are you allowed? Hello? I think there is something with the connection.
further career. Hello?
Dr. Shada, your voice is cutting.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you now. There was some lag.
Regarding the training, so you were allowed to work with the patients? There was no
Yes, you are
or something?
no, it was nothing like that. During your postgraduate training, you are supposed to take care of patients, and you are supposed to treat them also. And yeah, so council
Hello. I think Dr. Shada has some internet connection problems.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Now, yes, you are
Hello.
getting, yes.
Hello. Okay.
I think that's
Yeah.
maybe also because of the timing, the time limitations in Zoom. So maybe that's why.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes,
Is it better now?
yeah, that's much better. I think that was the reason was maybe also, you know, we have remaining 8 minutes time. Maybe that's
Okay.
also the reason. Yes,
Yeah.
Dr.
So maybe.
Can we just go back to that question regarding the training? So you are allowed to work with the patients despite the license fact?
Yeah, you get a temporary registration for the course duration, so you get to practice with patients. So, and your work is supervised, and you get to do your work according to your specialty.
That,
And
that's the important part. Doctor,
yes,
I would like to thank you again. That was very nice of you, you know, during this difficult time of quarantine, you know, and also Ramadan timing. So thank you very much for giving your time to us, to my students as well. And it was very informative. I
thank you so much.
we will post your email there if they will have any additional questions.
Yeah, certainly. Please tell him to get in touch with me in case I have missed points, which probably I think I have covered, but
I
still there are students they have. Okay, thank you so much. Happy Ramadan to all of you. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to all the students. Okay, bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.